everyone. We have Derek here with us. How are you?
Wonderful. Happy to be here.
I've been trying to get this interview for months.
I know. Conferences, it's so hard. There's so many people to talk to, and we tried to make it work in Miami, and every single time I kept saying, all right, we'll do it later. I'm busy. We'll do it later. And then we ran out of time.
We did, and that's why we're here right now,
Yes.
because I did not want to run out of time, and
Yes,
I wanted
absolutely.
to interview you. Derek, I first want to say that I admire everything you do. You make it. You have such like a goodwill to help and make Nostr better and usable and open it for everyone. I want to know what drives you, because to me that you drive me, but I want to know what drives you.
Well, thank you for the kind words. It. I love people. I love networking. I love making new friends, building communities, and Nostr is very much so alive to do that right now. And there's just a lot of fun and excitement and energy, and all of the energy in Nostr, like I feed off of that, and it gives me more energy to do more fun stuff and more cool stuff, just because I don't know, the vibe is great. It's infectious and kind of intoxicating, and it just makes me want to do as much as I can to see Nostr grow, just because I can see how big and important Nostr can be for the world.
Talking about the world in general, you explained yesterday. Yesterday, for those who are not here at Baltic Honey Badger, Derek explained how he started on Nostr. But for those who don't know Nostr and for those who don't know Derek, I would like for you to explain what were you doing before.
Okay. Before Nostr, I mean, I was just a guy posting on Twitter, and I like to talk about Bitcoin, and I was just a guy posting about Bitcoin on Twitter and having a good time talking about that, and I kind of fell into, doing the same thing on Nostr essentially, but a little bit more. Like, Jack Dorsey, he talked about Nostr on Twitter, and a lot of Bitcoiners were like, "Hey, what's that? That's cool," and other Bitcoiners were talking about Nostr, and I said, "Well, let me check it out." And one thing led to another, and here we are.
So you've never been like a social media developer, designer. How did you end up knowing what you wanted to create?
Well, so my fiat mining job is I'm a systems administrator. I've been in the IT world for the past nearly 2 decades, I guess. And I'm a former entrepreneur. Used to have a business before I started working for somebody else. And it kind of came naturally, I guess, the entrepreneurial spirit to build things. It never went away when I closed my business. I've always had that drive to continue to want to build. But long story short, financial crisis happened in 2008, 2009, and I had to close my shop. So that entrepreneurial spirit never left, and I've kind of always had that itch to do something. And when Nostr came about, I was like, oh, I'm not a developer, but I have the technical skills to do some things, obviously. And I said, well, you know what? I can do these little basic things and enhance the Nostr experience for a couple friends. And then those couple friends told a couple other friends, and it really spidered into something I had never really thought that it would turn into. And I love that it did, because I've had this, like I said, this itch for the past 13 years that I've never been able to fully scratch. It's been in the back of my mind.
Just Nostr things.
Just Nostr things, that's okay. And I think that Nostr came around like perfectly because I've wanted to have a Bitcoin business for years. Since I got into Bitcoin, like in the back of my mind, like I said, I have the entrepreneurial thought process and drive because I've done it before. I want to do it again, but it's really hard to kind of start over and do that. And I've always wanted to do something in Bitcoin, and this allowed me to do that and scratch that itch and kind of do something that I've always wanted to do.
Okay, so you have the Nostr Nest.
Yes.
The NIPS.
The NIPS.
Well, not the NIPS. The NIPO 5.
Yes,
Nostr.
Nostr.Plebs. So yeah, Nostr.Plebs originally started out as a way to do a Nostr address or NIP05 ID, and we have like over 4,000 users today. But we also do other things, and we do lightning addresses. We do email to your Nostr address. We do directory services. We do, as you said. The Nostr Nest, we're looking at enhancing that and growing that, and other new Nostr services. Like, just Nostr isn't fully designed and built out yet. It's never going to be, because it can be so broad. So it allows for a lot of people to build microservices and little tiny enhancements to make things better and more usable for people and fill these gaps.
So with what you're saying, I'm sensing that Nostr gave you the chance that you've been waiting for.
Yes.
And that makes me think, like, people that are not even in Bitcoin, Nostr is also for them.
Absolutely. Just right now, probably high 90%, 90% will say, of Nostr users are Bitcoiners. And that's okay, because some type of community has to go first. And that's fine if Bitcoiners are first. We're used to paving the way. And that's fine. I hope someday that Nostr is used by so many more people than Bitcoiners. Other communities around the world, various diverse loves and interests, to make it more fun and just expand on everything.
Can you tell me a little bit about the other projects you mentioned yesterday that are being developed on Nostr that are not social media like?
Absolutely. So social media is broken, and right now that's the most popular use case for Nostr. But we know the other stuff is where the fun will eventually begin. Like right now, my favorite other stuff is Zap.Stream. And I guess that's kind of social. It's social video, but it's not a Twitter clone, right? We have so many Twitter clones and Facebook type clones and everything, and where this is more along the lines of like a Twitch clone or a YouTube clone. So Zap.Stream is really unique in that regard. We have classified ads with ostrich.work. We have Linktree. There's multiple Linktree implementations. We have Reddit implementations. Like, there's all sorts of cool things that are slowly being built out to where maybe in 2 years, maybe 5 years, the most exciting thing on Nostr may not even be social. Who knows?
Who knows? For those who don't know Nostr and are watching us, just found us randomly on YouTube, can you tell them what Zap.Stream means? Because what is Zap?
What is a Zap? A Zap is just it's just a Lightning payment. It's a Bitcoin payment that is aware that Nostr exists. So it's integrated Bitcoin payments. But Zaps are more than that. Zaps are a way to give value to some type of event, some type of note on Nostr, where you can directly pay a content creator, directly give them money for their content. So if you like this video, you like this content, I can, instead of just clicking a like button or a thumbs up, which has no value, it has no meaning, I can actually give you money. I can give you maybe 10,000 sats or $10 worth of Bitcoin or something like that, to show that I value the content that you gave me. And it allows us to build a value for value circular Bitcoin economy. So Zap.Stream just plays off of these Nostr Zaps and the word stream because it's a streaming service. It's a streaming service.
I want to touch on that topic of, like, it gives you can give value.
Yes.
So with value it comes freedom.
Yes.
Because content creators or in general anyone who's giving you value on Nostr, it could be someone, it's basically content that you're consuming, it's not going to be attached to advertisement. So we touch back on freedom and we go full circle on the fact that Nostr gave you the chance to do what you've been wanting to do for a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, I had started a Bitcoin, Lightning, and Nostr business because I essentially didn't have to ask permission to go out and do it. and I could build anything I want on top of this because it's an open protocol. But both Bitcoin and Nostr are open protocols, and anybody can build anything that they want to build without having to go and ask for API access or go to ask, can I do this from anybody or any entity. It's absolutely perfect and allows people to do anything and gives us our freedoms back.
Exactly. So with that, I want to close because I wanted Derek to talk about how much freedom this has given him, because to me, it's all about that. I think that's what gives the vibe of happiness and support, because we all
Yeah.
support each other. And Derek and I have been working to set up Nostrasia. So
Yes.
that's another thing that Nostr has given us.
Absolutely.
It has given us this relationship,
Yes,
which is amazing.
New friends
New
because
friends.
of Nostr, and we would have probably never met. We're from 1,000 miles apart, different countries, different just completely different areas in our lives, and we would have never met, never become friends without Nostr.
Exactly. So since we're on the topic that we're working in Nostrasia, we met at Nostrica.
We did.
Yes, and
Absolutely beautiful. My wife and I were down at Nostrica, the first Nostr unconference conference, and it was absolutely beautiful. We had so much fun, and we're going back in January, and my wife and I are bringing our kids to go to the Bitcoin Freedom Festival, which is a Bitcoin and Nostr conference at the exact same location in Uvita.
see, it gives you freedom, basically.
Yes.
That's it. It takes you places. It opens new worlds.
Yes.
There's so many keys that haven't been touched that are looking for someone to touch them and create something. So you need to learn from Derek. And but with that, I also want to say that since we're working in Nostrasia, there's a hackathon coming up.
There is a hackathon coming up, so where hopefully some of this other stuff that we always say is going to be the exciting parts of Nostr, maybe somebody will participate in the hackathon and build an idea that no one has thought of yet, or enhance something that exists today, but rebuild it on Nostr and add decentralization to it. Like the exciting stuff is waiting to be built. So the hackathon is a perfect opportunity for people to participate and build these types of microservices, these apps, and get feedback from the community.
So if you have an idea or you have an itch, this is your opportunity.
To scratch it. Scratch away. Scratch it.
Well, Derek, as usual, it's really nice to talk to you.
Oh, absolutely, Marce.
And thank you for giving us this few minutes of your time.
You're welcome. I'm happy we're finally able to do it after several attempts.
I know, guys. I had to chase him.
I kept rugging her. It's my fault.
He rugged me. I've been rugged several times. Not by shitcoins, though.
Yeah.
So, great. Thank you. And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Join the hackathon. Even if you're not going to Nostrasia, join the hackathon. Scratch away your itches.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be there. It's going to last like the entire month, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to travel to Asia. You can do it from the comfort of your own home.
Yes, exactly. So see you guys later, and see you tonight at the Nostr Rock Party for Baltic Honey Badger.
Thank you.
Bye.